Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Welcome back. It has been a heck of a couple weeks here, and I know you haven't seen my face in a very long time, but I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and tonight we're sitting down with Dr. Morgan Sheridan out in Denver, Colorado. She's a practicing chiropractor and absolutely crushing it at her office, Foundation Chiropractic, out in Denver, and has a ton of value and a ton of content to just bring to the table. And we're going to look at chiropractic from a little bit different of a perspective tonight. And I'm really excited about that because a lot of times people come on here, we talk all about how can you become better? How can we become better? And tonight it's going to be taking a bird's eye view of chiropractic in this profession and really recognizing where these faults are and where these differences are so that we can further move ahead in society in order to make the biggest impact that the chiropractic profession deserves to make. So I'm really pumped, Doc. I'm excited for this, and I'm going to share a little story when we come back from our first sponsor break. I'm going to share a little story of how I know Dr. Morgan from just everything that I'm doing with the Legendary Chiropractor, and that's the way the chiropractic profession works. It's a small world, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. So we will be right back after this short break. To Inspire Women is the elite boutique coaching company for chiropractors who are looking to live life and run business in a way that is personal, unique, and authentic. They focus on business systems and money mindset mastery so you can pay down debt, be more profitable, and serve more people. Their goal is to empower you to achieve success by your own rules and your own definition. Head to toinspirewomen.com now because they know there's a better way. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. It's time that chiropractors look beyond spinal alignments and measure the nerve connections that keep our patients feeling strong and performing at their peak. CLA designed the Insight scanning technologies to transform exams and generate powerful reports that give practitioners the certainty they have been searching for. Learn how CLA has partnered with practices around the world by going to insightcla.com. Spinal hygiene products are designed to educate your patients on the importance of lifetime spinal care. To learn more about how spinal hygiene products work and to download the patient education material for free, visit spinalhygiene.co. Again, that's spinalhygiene.co. Easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. Sked is the all-in-one system that allows for amazing control and flexibility of your scheduling. Yes, your next new hire. Every aspect of when and where you service your customers is at your command. Sked is tightly integrated with your existing EHR system. This software was made by a chiropractor specifically for chiropractic. No joke. Go check out their latest care plan feature by heading to go.sked.life/legendarypod. Dr. David Toohill is an innovative product and marketing strategist, bridging the gap between your vision and strategic plan. He will help you design specific products and processes that are both scalable and set up to produce long-term revenue and growth. He has previously worked with influencers that include Dr. Josh Axe, Jordan Rubin of Ancient Nutrition, Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson, and many, many others. Schedule your call with Dr. Dave today by heading to meetwithdrdave.com. Training the best adjusters on the planet. SYNTROPY has reverse engineered what the masters do naturally. From the energetics to the mechanics, they've hacked the code to shorten your learning curve on the road to masterful adjusting. To find a seminar near you, head to syntropychirotraining.com. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Sweet. Welcome back, everybody, to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Johnny Reuter. I know I haven't seen you guys in a little while, but tonight we are live with a very special guest, Dr. Morgan Sheridan. She's coming live from Denver, Colorado, and I'm honored to have her on the show. Actually, I posted a little while ago, probably, I don't even know how long ago, but months ago on our group page that we have for our entire School of Life University. And I said, hey, I need a web developer. And so her brother actually is a web developer, Ryan Sheridan, and he and I have been working really, really hard on our brand new Legendary Chiropractor platform that is going to be absolutely out of this world for chiropractic students, recent graduates, and docs out there. So I'm honored to know Dr. Morgan just virtually here, but I'm also honored to know her brother, who is helping me tremendously build out this brand new immersive, inclusive, interactive platform that we have coming for you, soft launching in April and then full launching in July. So be on the lookout for all of that. Doc, without further ado, I wanted to just quickly share that story because I think it's hilarious how small chiropractic is, and it's like, you know, we lean on each other for assistance, for help, and it's cool to know people who are in your corner who are willing to go through the time and effort that Ryan's put in for me. So it's unbelievable. So Doc, you have the floor. I want you to introduce yourself, share some of your accolades, share what you how your story, your chiropractic story, how you became or got into chiropractic through school, and then now where you're at. You graduated in 2015, and now you are rocking and rolling in Denver, Colorado in your own practice. So talk to us about that, Doc.
Yeah, so my sort of chiropractic story goes, I've been adjusted since I was a week old. My dad is a health insurance agent, so he's the guy that says, if I pay for 12 visits, I'm getting my 12 visits, right? So it breaks his heart that I don't accept insurance. But thankfully, he ended up in a really great chiropractic office where when my mom got pregnant, she was told, hey, the most important adjustment is the first adjustment. That baby needs to get in here immediately after it's born, right? So I've just always been adjusted. I didn't really know that I was the weirdo in society till I got out in the real world. I was like, oh, not everyone does this. So I grew up with it. Then I went to school doing business because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I started playing rugby in undergrad. So I stopped getting adjusted because I was playing rugby and buying beer instead of getting adjusted. And I took a really gnarly hit to the head. A week later, I got my first ear infection that I'd ever had in my life. And so I was at the Minute Clinic, you know, waiting on my prescription for my antibiotic. And I called my mom and she said, I feel like you should go to the chiropractor. I was like, it's an ear infection. Why would I do that? But yeah, I could probably use an adjustment. So I found the only place open on a Saturday, went in, instantly felt my ear pop and drain. And I was taken aback, like, what was that? Went home, said, you know, I'm not taking this antibiotic. I don't need to. And I said, well, you know, go make sure on Monday, make sure it's cleared out. So I went to back to the Minute Clinic and they looked and they said, oh, great. The antibiotic's working perfectly. It looks great. I was like, yeah, I didn't take it. So as I went back to that chiropractor, he kept explaining, you know, this is what it is. This is what's happening. Your body's designed to heal itself. And so it was something I had just never heard, and it really interested me. So I decided to go to Life U, and after that was it. It was like, this is so cool.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So talk to us a little bit about starting a practice, because our topics tonight are a little bit not in that category. So I want you to kind of have the floor to share your adventures of starting a practice on your own and just really crushing it. I know you had a kid at the time as well. So talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to be a sports chiropractor when I entered school because I played rugby. Thought that was my passion. Definitely did not like kids. I thought they were gross. And then I took Dr. Rubin's class, and it changed everything. I was like, wait, we can help kids grow up to be fully functioning adults instead of fixing broken adults. That's pretty cool. So I started the ICPA course and finished most of that while I was at Life. Finished it up after I graduated, and so I just knew that I wanted a pediatric practice. Went out, of course, the struggle is real, but thankfully I had a really good strategy, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, but Mind Virus and Mark Swerdlick. He gives sort of instead of here are your systems in your office, do this, print this paperwork, this is the day 1, day 2. He says, hey, this is how you fish however you want. Mm-hmm. So I used his strategy about public perception and how to present myself, because there is a difference between advertising and marketing. And I've built up a majority pediatric practice, and I love it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it, Doc. I'm excited for you. And I know you're what, 5 years into it, right? And you are absolutely crushing it. And the sky is the limit, as they say. So tonight we're talking about the chiropractic profession as a whole, what it means to work together, what kind of things are going on within the chiropractic profession that it's important for chiropractic students to be aware of, as well as those veteran docs out there who might not be as tapped into the chiropractic politics as one would urge them to be. But as Dr. Liam Schubel likes to say, if you're in chiropractic, you're in the chiropractic politics. So we're going to talk tonight all about the chiropractic cartel, what that means, what Dr. Morgan defines that as, and she's going to explain a little bit more and give some substance behind that statement. And then we're going to talk about professional strategy as a whole of chiropractic. Moving forward, how to, like Dr. Morgan said, how to shape public perception so that we are the authority leading into our next and last topic of culture. We are the cultural authority in our communities as well as in society as a whole. So we're going to talk about all of these different things. So Doc, talk to us first and foremost about the chiropractic cartel. What does that mean to you? Where does this term come from? And I just want to pick your brain on it because I think it's amazing. When we did the little pre-interview session, I was like, yes, this is going to be an amazing conversation. So talk to us a little bit about the definition of chiropractic cartel and then where your stance is moving forward here.
Yeah, so the cartel is a group of organizations, schools, and trade groups that have a specific mission of moving chiropractic as a profession towards the chiropractic physician direction, right? They want to go towards primary care being our responsibility rather than sort of subluxation-based care. There is room for all of it. However, when we start excluding those different areas is where the cartel has sort of taken us in a direction that I don't really like. So what happened is when I was in school in 2013, there was some rumbling on campus about going to Washington, D.C. for a CCE accreditation thing. And I was like, I don't know, but sure, road trip, right? And so started learning that in 2011, the CCE, which is the Council on Chiropractic Education, so they're in charge of the accreditation to all the schools right now. Their accreditation was put on a probation of sorts because the NSICI, I have to remember what that stands for. They're in charge of the accrediting agencies, and if they have quality and integrity, right? Yeah. So they say you have pushed out this fraction of your profession. That's not okay. Fix it in 2 years. Come back. Basically, what they did is they removed the term without drugs and surgery from the definition of chiropractic and then remove the term subluxation. So if you're on that side of things, it's sort of offensive. So then when we went back in 2013, there were kind of two groups, trades, schools, organizations, like I mentioned. There's the Chiropractic Summit Group and the Da Vinci Group. So each of these sort of represent different sides of the profession. And unfortunately, at the last minute, a few of those switched over, and the NSICI panel said, we see a huge problem in your profession. We are worried about your profession. There is very clearly a virtual cartel, their words, but it's not enough for us to take away your accreditation. Good luck. So after that, it was like, what is this cartel? And so it really kind of bothered me that this group of people who run all the kind of organizations, CCE, NBCE, so the boards, and then the FCLB, which is the Federation for Chiropractic Licensing Board, that they are taking, the students' dollars. It was something like $50 billion over 5 years. that the boards gave the licensing group money, 70% of their budget, to say, hey, go this direction. And so as a student, it's like, okay, we're taking out loans. This is taxpayer backed. This is not great. And then the other thing is that field docs were contributing to these organizations, trade groups that we believe in, ICA, ACA, ICPA, not that those are in either group, but we contribute to these trades groups that we trust, and that maybe they weren't doing what we thought they were with our money.
Yeah.
And sort of irked me, and it's interested me since.
Yeah. I think it's really fascinating, and I think I agree with Dr. Liam in regards to, he says there are 3 branches, and that's chiropractic research, education, and politics, right? And if you are within the chiropractic profession, you are involved in all 3 of those, right? You have to get an education. You have to, you don't have to do research, but you use research as kind of your foundation of what you are doing, how you are doing it, and things like that, depending on how far you want to go into research, I suppose. And then when it comes to the politics of it, when you're out in practice, right, each and every state board has a board or 2 that are licensing boards, and you have to agree to a certain extent with what they're doing in order to be licensed in that state, right? So it's interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, so every state in their wording to get a license says you have to graduate from a CCE accredited school, and you have to pass the national boards, NBCE national boards. Now what that does, the problem is it creates a monopoly. Mm-hmm. So there's no room for another accrediting agency. There's no room for another national board, so that whatever the CCE requirements, the board requirements are what our profession is. So right now, it's sort of leaning towards primary care. I mean, how many times you've taken boards, right?
Yep.
So how many times do you take the board review and they're like, this isn't real world. This is for the boards.
Right. Yep.
Isn't that the name of the game
Yes.
for boards? It's memorize this and then forget it forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's crap, right?
Right.
We learn what we're using, and we should be tested on what we need to know as a chiropractor,
Yes.
not as primary care and a crappy primary care at that.
Right, exactly. And we go back and forth in discussions. In one of our classes, you were at Life, so one of our CLET classes, we actually have a case debate and a discussion, right? And it really comes down to how many times have you actually seen these cases in clinical practice, right? Throughout your educational experience. And so it's really interesting when you say a crummy primary care at that, right? It's like, yeah, it really is, right? We're not doing a residency for 4 years, seeing all of these different cases that we learn about and are being tested on in reality. So it's pretty interesting in that regard. And then I wrote down one thing and circled it, and that's one voice, right? If we want to talk about whatever terminology we want to use, monopoly, one voice, whatever it is, there's only one person or group of people at the top pedestal that is sitting there, making these decisions for everybody else to kind of run by. Now, I understand, and this might be a conversation that we might have to go on a tangent here. Now, when it comes to regulation and standardization, how important is it to have some of these groups in order or in place, and how do we go about best making them applicable or making everybody happy at one time? What are your thoughts on that?
Right. I mean, that is the problem, is that we still have to have accrediting agencies. Mm-hmm. We still have to test in some way, are we safe to be around the public? So I definitely don't have the answer to that. But so one thing I did want to talk about later, but we can go there now, is that, so Dr. Mark Swerdlick wrote a paper that he presented for his philosophy diplomate. It's published in the Journal of Philosophy, Principles, and Practice of Chiropractic. It's called it's Propagating a Subluxation Correction Paradigm. But what it is, okay, here are the different parts of the profession. Here's the direction we're going, but he lays out a really nice strategy that addresses some of those issues of how do we, get this cartel? How do we break it down? How do we go forward? I think that having the opportunity for an additional accrediting agency, an additional boards company would be great, because then us as chiropractors can decide, do we want to go this direction? Do we want to go this direction? Mm-hmm. State of Colorado just a few months ago remove the NBCE wording from our licensing, which is a step because there was a American Dental Association, or no, the North Carolina dental case that went to the Supreme Court that was similar in issue. And so licensing boards are sort of starting to look at like, oh, we might be kind of liable in what we decide for our constituents.
Yeah. It's really an interesting conversation. And again, it's not a conversation that a lot of people are having right now within chiropractic, and definitely not on this podcast. So I'm so glad that we're sitting down talking about this right now. But it just kind of makes it what most people don't like, right? It removes the freedom of choice. It removes, ambiguity. I can't say that word, but it removes these decision-making processes that should be taking place in order to advance the profession for everybody instead of just a certain amount of people based on what people up here are telling, are trickling down. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. And it's kind of scary, especially as why I sort of interested in this is as a pediatric chiropractor, it's more threatening to what I'm good at and what I do. If you look at Australia, if you look at Canada, the restrictions in place now, the cartel has their fingers there too, yeah. Right? That's not an independent situation. But if we don't learn about it, if we don't push for it, if we don't speak out about it, we're going to be exactly in the same predicament that they're in. We're already much closer than anyone wants to acknowledge. Yeah. And so for me, that's tragic to what I love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to limiting our options. It goes back to limiting our profession. And it just is interesting because everything we talk about that we don't like about maybe other professions or what happens with, within our profession, it is happening at home, right? It's happening within chiropractic. And if you haven't heard this topic being discussed before, please wake up to the call to action that you have here today, and start sharing this message with people, because people need to hear this, chiropractic students especially, because you as the old saying goes, you vote with your dollar, right? And so wherever you're attending school, now we can even break that down, but we're talking a little bit bird's eye right now. But even where your money goes, right? And it is a business. Academia is a business, unfortunately. But where your money goes speaks volumes to what's actually going on and actually taking place. So we need to be cautious and conscientious of this entire thing going on up above and in the clouds to what some think are just normal, regular things. The CCE accredits us, the school, we go to school, we get our degree, we take our national boards, and that's that, right? But we need to start kind of taking ourselves and inserting ourselves into the higher ups and making it more than just one voice, so that we don't have a monopoly and so that we don't have people who are ruling over what is happening below us. So I think it's really kind of interesting. Do you have any before we go to another ad break, do you have any last things you want to touch on that? No?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit of what Dr. Morgan was talking about earlier, professional strategy, and then we're going to get into a little bit of cultural authority as well, of how do we best go and tackle this huge beast of a burden that we have on our shoulders. So we'll be right back, everyone. Every chiropractic clinic needs a compliance program. If you are not sure what that includes or why you need one, let Dr. Robin from RHDC Consulting help you build your chiropractic compliance. If you are ready to get started, head to robin-hale.mykajabi.com and let Dr. Robin guide you to the end result. Turnkey Practice is a chiro-focused full-service team. They are your administrative guidance through credentialing, lease agreements, and of course, office build-outs. They are there from start to finish, allowing you to focus on the marketing and building your patient base while they build your practice. Tailor-made for you. To get started, head to myturnkeypractice.com/legendarypod. Dr. Christy Wick is revamping the landscape of women's chiropractic coaching. With a focus on connection and congruence, she's on a mission to empower lady DCs across the nation to create bold, successful lives and practices their way. Get started today by visiting theilluminatedsquad.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. The 56-day chiropractic boot camp, building badass female chiropractors who are instinctively successful. Head to 56daychirobootcamp.com/legendary for your free endless referrals cheat sheet now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Fantastic. We are back live with Dr. Morgan Sheridan, breaking chiropractic down to the bones here. This is so fantastic. So we just talked about the chiropractic cartel, what that means to you as a practicing chiropractor, as a chiropractic student, or even a recent chiropractic school graduate, because all of this, it has to do with, yes, politics, but also it has to do with what decisions you're going to make in the future to make and leave this profession better than what you found it. And I firmly believe that. That's where the whole Legendary Chiropractor came from. It was like, how do you make an impact so that you leave this profession a little bit better than where it started? So, Doc, let's go into professional strategy. What does that mean? I know you talked about it a little bit. I want you to mention that paper and that book and the author again, so that people just tuning in can listen to it and know where you're coming from, and then talk to us about that long-term strategy and what that looks like.
Yeah, so much like chiromath runs rampant, so does chirostrategy, right? There's a million different ways to do the same thing that we all do. Now you apply that to technique. Yes, we know that. There's tons of techniques. Apply it to how do you run a practice? How do you get new patients? How do you market yourself? That's where it's, for me, I see an issue with a bunch of different options out there, and I don't think it's doing anything for our profession as a whole. So when I'm thinking strategy, again, it's the paper that I mentioned is Propagating a Subluxation Correction Paradigm by Dr. Mark Swerdlick. And so first and foremost, Mark Swerdlick is he's interested in consumer psychology. So he's a marketing strategist. He did not start out as a chiropractor. His background is in very high level marketing. Second, he loves chiropractic because of his experience with it. But that is definitely the afterthought to what his knowledge base is. And so in this paper, he goes through the different attempts to increase utilization, like Amplified, Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, even the movie Doctored, and why those are not necessarily why they didn't work to increase utilization. Mm-hmm. He also points out different industries, then how they have gained cultural authority or trust of the public, like American Dental Association or even the USDA organic label. And then he addresses, right, so here's where we've gone wrong. Here's things that have gone well. Here's what we need to do. And I think that meat of this paper is really important for everyone to read. And it is like a quick, easy, fast read. It's not going to blow your brain out and you're going to be exhausted. Like, it's an easy read. Everyone should read it. But he talks about this paradigm shift and towards gaining cultural authority, right? Like, medical doctors have cultural authority. The public trusts what they say. We don't have that. And when we speak like we do, we sound like crazy people. And so he really goes into how do we build social proof and how do we build that relationship with the public as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really think that what you said, building social proof or utilizing even social proof, a lot of people, right, will value those, case reports, case studies, whatever, at the very bottom of the pyramid. Now, that of research-wise, right, but at the same time, it's getting the story out there. It's understanding that pushing things out there like chiropractic positive messages, in my opinion, are important for us. But also, what Doc, is the strategy behind, the American Dental Association? What have they done? What did he say they did to kind of frame themselves as the cultural authority? What were some key takeaways that you got?
Well, so they just had a strategy, basically.
Right.
They, like American Medical Association, medical did not have a strategy. They just kind of happened upon cultural authority. But the American Dental Association got together, said, hey, we're going to say you need to have your teeth checked every 6 months. And then they put an ad campaign out there. Brush your teeth twice a day. Get checked every 6 months. And they stayed with it.
Right.
And they went with it, you know, as the profession as a whole. And so that really kind of led to, okay, we've seen this. We've seen it twice. We've seen it 3 times. We've seen it a lot. When my neighbor does that, of course, this is normal.
Yes, exactly.
But a big part of what we put out there to the public is you never know how far-reaching something you think, say, or do can affect the lives of millions tomorrow, right? We as chiropractors, I think, and listen, I love a good tick session, right? Like, been to the Berkshires, been to DE, been to all the things, right? West, South, all places. But the public isn't ready for tick. And so when we give it to them, they think we're quacks. I titled when I emailed you. What did I say? Cairo Island is full of quacks.
Yeah.
I say it with love. But like we're crazy. Chiropractors have to be a little bit crazy. We have to be a little off the average to even go into this profession, to have this sort of mindset of what health is. And Cairo Island is like really sweet and savory and indulgent, and it's a wonderful place to be because we have something amazing. But like the public doesn't live there.
Right.
And so I think a lot of that strategy is going out and instead of, 10% utilization rate on a good day, the 90%, what are we doing? So if we tell the public something, sure, maybe some think it's great, but I think what's more important is to realize who are we pushing away? Who are we disqualifying from care? Because obviously we haven't done anything to get us past that 10%. And so, yay, we got 10%, but the 90% is where my concern is what we're saying as a profession or as individuals in our marketing, are we pushing anyone further from chiropractic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say with some communication styles, absolutely, right? You can't sit back and be naive enough to be like, everyone loves what I say on my day 2 and my day 1. It's like, no. Some people think we're nuts. Like, and I go back to the point of what we're trying to do in our minds, our chiropractic bubble up here, right, is that we're trying to make the common sense common again, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, being healthy is a smart decision, right? But now how does that relate to your spine? And that's where we lose track, right? And we go in like 100 different directions. And I want to draw our attention to this right here is that we have so many differences in this profession as chiropractors and as the chiropractic profession. Now, as those differences are great, and I think they actually help us in some way, shape, or form most of the time, some of these differences are truly, truly holding us back. And when we can kind of break down those barriers and move forward as a profession together, that's when we will make the biggest impact and the greatest impact when it goes to creating cultural authority. And when it goes to creating neighbors telling neighbors, I go to a chiropractor, you should too, right? And so it's really interesting to me. It's really interesting to me that what do you think, Doc, are some of these, differences that we have in the profession, we can recognize and we need to move past? Talk to me about those.
I think the biggest issue is that we can't think what we do is special, which we do because it is, and it's cool, and it's changed our lives personally. But I think it's really some of the breakdown happens where either, okay, my technique's better, or my approach is better, or this PM company is better, or saying this is better. But recognizing that if we're deciding who's better amongst our profession, that gives a very vulnerable place for the public to perceive us. And we're giving them, like you said, a bunch of different things. And they're like, these people don't know what they're doing themselves. Why would we trust them?
Right. Yeah. It gets really hard. And I because we've gone so many different directions and we've had so many great minds within chiropractic, like, and that's where these differences really stem from, is like someone came one time and said, I think this way is great. And then everyone was like, yay. And then another person came and they were like, I think this is a better way. And some people went with that person, and it just trickled down from there, right? And so now we have all of these people going different directions. But I agree with you. I think we really need to shelf the egos. And when we unsubluxate what's in between our ears here, we really can advance this profession forward. One of my goals, one of my dreams this is the first time I'm ever saying this on live anything. But one of my goals, one of my dreams is to have a chiropractic Super Bowl commercial, right? And so I want it to be the first commercial after the kickoff, right? No, everybody loses their bets in Vegas. Like nobody would have guessed that a chiropractic commercial would have come after the kickoff of the Super Bowl. But here's the thing. Here's what you got to know about that is, like, in order to create, I actually did some like thinking hard on like, what would we say in a Super Bowl commercial as a profession, right? It'd be like, chiropractic's great. Give it a try. Like something along those lines. Like we can't even agree because we can't say, the word subluxation. We can't say this or the other thing because it'll make some people unhappy or uneasy. And so it's really breaking down those barriers and getting out of our own way before we can really step into the public limelight.
I think that's why it's important, like the ADA did, is that to get, I think our biggest problem is that we're chiropractors and we're putting chiropractors in charge of it. Like, we're good at what we do, but like we need a strategist. We need somebody who does marketing and strategy outside of the profession, as, hey, the public perceives this kind of marketing as reputable. The public responds to this type of consumer psychology, right? Going with someone who's not a chiropractor. And that's why I loved Mark's paper, because first and foremost, he's a marketing strategist. We need somebody who's not us doing what we do best. It's like when you start a practice, you don't do your own books. You hire an accountant. You don't make your own website when you're starting the Legendary Chiropractor, right? You hire somebody. You hire people who do what they do really well, and you stay in your lane as the chiropractor.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we need, is we need a strategic approach formulated by someone who's not concerned about pushing their own thoughts first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we can find that. If I'm being honest with you, I really, truly think we can find that. And it's exactly what you said. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase and kind of break this down into one sentence, and it's getting out of our own way. We need to get out of our own way, and the only way we do that is, in my opinion, we can look to outside resources who are really good at this stuff, who really get it. And like you said, there's more to advertising and marketing than the average chiropractor knows, right? And we all like to think, we start, a funnel or whatever we want to call it, and we're like, we're marketing geniuses, and I'm going to package this up and sell it.
They're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not our full-time thing.
Right.
It's not our it might be a passion or a hobby, but it's not our full-time thing. And if you've changed directions and you've actually gone into it full-time, you kind of realize like that it's a totally different ballgame than you were probably expecting, and you need to take a step back from your original profession of chiropractic.
You ever did. You're like, I'm a chiropractor.
Right.
And you probably go back and apologize for what you did to that poor person.
Exactly. It's so interesting. So I think that's like the moral of our takeaway here, is getting out of our own way as a profession and really utilizing outside perspectives in order to advance our cultural authority. And so we're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, Doc, I want you to share with what's on your docket, what's on your agenda coming forward here, coming into 2020. What do you wish to achieve this year as a chiropractor? And then what do you wish to do as like a chiropractor as a whole, right? That whole entire profession. How do you wish to help advance us in order to become that cultural authority? So we'll be right back, everyone. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of ChiroSecure Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made ChiroSecure the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chirosecure.com. The IFCO is here to support you. Whether you are a chiropractic student, doctor of chiropractic, chiropractic organization, or member of the public, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations is here for you. They recognize and support your right to practice and receive vertebral subluxation-centered chiropractic care and are here to ensure that right and spread access to that care throughout the world. Head to ifcochiro.org/legendary for more. Be sure to give our friends over at Chiro Hustle a listen. They are bringing together some of the biggest names in the profession and learning from the greats. Chiro Hustle creates a safe space where chiropractic leaders share their stories and their passions with the world. Let's get hustling by heading to chirohustle.com now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Sweet. We are back, everyone. Welcome back. We have a little bit of a lag. I'm sorry about that, but those of you listening on audio podcast, it won't matter too much at all. So I appreciate every single one of you for watching the show, joining us on the Legendary Chiropractor's journey into just kind of advancing the chiropractic profession forward, first and foremost by taking care of the chiropractic students and really making people aware of some of these critical issues that are taking place within chiropractic so we can advance our profession forward. So, Doc, talk to us a little bit about what's coming for you. Tonight we talked all about chiro cartel, professional strategy, cultural authority. What is on the docket for you to help advance our profession moving forward? Talk to us.
Sure. So I'm actually in the process of applying to join Colorado State Board, which once you reach the 5 year in practice, you're eligible for that. So talking to the board members, getting what I need to do, which is great.
Awesome.
I'm going to start the Diplomate program through the ICPA, continue that education, and just really thank you for this podcast because it's brought back to the forefront where it's always like, oh yeah, I know about this and it's important, but like, I really want to kind of speak up about it and make sure other people know about it so we can guard this sacred trust that is chiropractic. Yeah,
absolutely. I love it. I think you're going to do huge. You're already doing huge things, but I know for a fact that 2020 is full of huge things for you to come, not only for you personally, but professionally, educationally. Like you said, you're striving to achieve your diplomate in the ICPA and getting back into the politics of it and being an activist for chiropractic. And I think a lot of people fall short on that front many times, right? Because we can all hoorah together when we're at a seminar and be, woohoo, and we can do this podcast and be like, yay, here are all the problems. But what are we actually doing to advance this profession forward in the right manner? And you're taking a huge step applying to be on the Chiropractic State Board, which is absolutely amazing. And so I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I know you're going to absolutely crush it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on the podcast, being on the show tonight. And it's been an absolute honor interviewing you. And I hope that people got some value from this. I know people got some value. We have plenty of comments and stuff. We'll go back and respond to everyone. But we talked about some heavy stuff tonight. And I really want to emphasize that, if you don't know much about this, you can reach out to myself. You can reach out to Dr. Morgan. Ask us questions. Ask us, how you can get more involved, and we'll lead you in the right direction, right? And if we don't have an answer for you, hopefully someone in our circle, someone in our corners can assist you further along your journey. So,
it can, for people who do want to, kind of look into this, it can be as simple as checking out the kind of two sides of this, the Summit group and then Da Vinci. Look and see, is my malpractice insurance that I'm paying for every year, are they moving towards where I want to go in my profession, or are they moving maybe away? My EHR system, trade groups. And then of course always have to say, when you order the Amazon, because everyone orders the Amazon, go on to Smile Amazon and then link to Foundation for Vertebral Subluxation, because we can't have enough money in research.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more, Doc. I absolutely loved having you on the show. And everyone, at the very beginning of this show and episode, I mentioned that I'm working with Dr. Morgan's brother to develop a brand new, immersive, interactive, and inclusive platform for the Legendary Chiropractor. We will be soft launching, in April, and then we will be full launching in July, and you will see tons and tons of posts and content coming out about that because I'm so excited for it. And Dr. Morgan knows, and I know for a fact that it has been a roller coaster of events when it comes to the web development process of it all. And I'm really, really excited to just get it out to everybody to utilize, to have, and really bring this profession truly closer together. No matter what sides you're on, no matter where your ego lies, I want to bring people together, and starting first and foremost with the chiropractic students, because I love us. I think we're underserved, but we're underserved, but over marketed too. And so it gets really dicey. So I love all of you. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes. We got another live coming up tomorrow night. And if you're listening on audio podcast, the next episode will be out either Monday or Thursday, depending on what day this drops in the future. So I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Dr. Morgan, for being on the show, and have a lovely, lovely evening, everybody. Thank you so much. Good night.